Okay, so a little while ago I did a video comparing all of the Cinestill E6 slide developing chemistry. That video took a while to do, and I shot a bunch of Ektachrome and I had to develop it all, and it all looked really bad except for the stuff that I developed with a Unicolor E6 kit, which looked great. As a quick actual recap, because I have now pulled that video down because I'm basically remaking it, I shot 4 fresh rows of Ektachrome in 4 cameras, identical photos across all the rows, and developed them in Unicolor, in Daylight Chrome Cinestill, in Tungsten Chrome Cinestill, and Dynamic Chrome Cinestill E6 developer. And I looked at everything side by side, and all the Cinestill stuff looked really, really abysmal. Mostly very, very dark. And I was left pretty baffled. And I had some people say that they had good results with Cinestill chemistry, and some people who said that they had poor results with Cinestill chemistry. Shortly after I put that video up, Cinestill emailed me and asked me for more details about the video, because they were like, hey, it really shouldn't look like that, trust us. After doing some digging, Cinestill let me know that the chemistry that I had purchased from like a local camera store actually seemed to be very, very expired. Like, had probably been sitting on the shelf for a few years past their expiration date without anybody realizing, unfortunately. So not my fault, but Cinestill was like, you don't have to make the video again. Like, truly, genuinely, they didn't ask me to make this video again. But I wasn't gonna not make the video again if everything that was in the previous video was wrong because of something that I just didn't realize at the time. Cinestill mailed me replacement chemistry and replacement Ektachrome. So we have everything again. We have the Daylight Chrome, the Tungsten Chrome developer, the Dynamic Chrome developer, the bleaches, the fix, the color and reversal baths, and enough rows of Ektachrome to be able to do this again. I'm doing this again with Robin, who already got dragged into this 4 or 5 months ago in February when I took the photos initially. So we are back at it. Also, the email from Cinestill went into a lot of technical information about the Cinestill E6 chemistry, which was very, very useful for having the context of why this should work properly. First of all, it has been rigorously tested against like Kodak E6 developing standards, and things should come out the way that they're supposed to. And especially the Daylight Chrome first developer stuff should look almost identical when I develop it in a Unicolor kit, because the Daylight Chrome first developer is an identical formula to the Unicolor first developer for the E6 developing. And trust me, if I thought that there wasn't a reason to redo this video, then I wouldn't, because it was so much work in the first place, and I am so busy that it is hard enough to make videos as it is. But really, it is worth it for all those people out there who are shooting Ektachrome and are trying to get a good sense of what you can do with it, because it is so expensive to do today. So let's do this again. Are you excited to do this again?
Hell yeah. Wait, that was to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Who else is here?
The audience.
The audience. For this Ektachrome test, I loaded each roll of Ektachrome into separate cameras, and I would cycle through the cameras for each shot. First, I did shots inside under daylight balanced lights, then repeated the whole process again, but with tungsten balanced lights. Then we shot outside in the daylight, and then outside in daylight, but using an 85 orange filter to convert the daylight to tungsten. So that in the end, I had shot 4 identical rolls of Ektachrome in 4 situations. Time to mix everything again. I've got the color and reversal stuff, the bleaches and fixed, and the 3 different developers. I've got a big thing of distilled water. I'm using the Cinestill temperature control thing, which I just have had for a long time. I did not get for this video. So I'm gonna mix all this and then use it in like a few hours to develop everything. Just so we're clear on how I'm doing this, for mixing the chemistry, first I heat the water, then I add the chemistry, then I top it up with a bit more water. I wash everything really well in between, and I repeat this basic process for each developer, and then the color and reversal chemistry and the Blix chemistry. Then everything gets diluted from those mixed solutions for the actual developing.
Stick all the chemistry into a heated bath and bring it to the required temperature.
Great. Now it's time to develop 4 rows of Ectochrome in 4 different ways. Unicolor, dynamic chrome, daylight chrome, and tungsten chrome. Although daylight chrome and unicolor should be like identical in the end. This is going to take me a bit to do, and also the unicolor stuff runs at 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and the Cinestill chemistry is supposed to run at 104 degrees Fahrenheit, so I have to do the unicolor stuff first and then bring the Cinestill stuff up a little bit in temperature.
Okay.
We're going to start with unicolor.
Oh, I am still recording.
We're going to do the first roll, which is unicolor. This is now a degree too cold.
Unicolor's first developer is developed at 100 degrees Fahrenheit for 6.5 minutes. I run the water bath between 2 and 3 degrees higher than the chemistry's temperature so that it can help to kind of maintain and hopefully compensate for any loss of temperature during the developing time.
This is the unicolor roll. Really nice density. It just looks really good. I'm gonna do the dynamic chrome first developer first because I still have the most amount of energy for this. And the developing time for that at 1 to 3 is 13 minutes. So that's what we will start with.
For dynamic chrome, I decided I would start by trying the 1 to 3 dilution, which might seem like an odd choice, but this dilution boasts a ton of extended latitude, more detail, and seems to be the most unique choice of the developers here. The other options are 1 to 2 dilution and 1 to 1. Dynamic chrome runs at 104 degrees Fahrenheit for 13 minutes at a dilution of 1 to 3. I had the chemistry temperature at 105 degrees to start a bit hotter because of the long dev time, and the water bath for the tank at 106 degrees.
Okay. This better be worth it. It's really dark. I mean, maybe if I blast some light through it, maybe. Oh, it's got like a weird pinkish, purplish hue. That's the tungsten stuff, obviously. This is like, so I mean, this first one should just be neutral, kind of. Dilute 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 with water for further preserved highlight detail and a more neutral color balance. So this should be preserved highlight detail with a more neutral color balance.
What have we learned?
I don't know yet. We're gonna do daylight chrome now. And I follow the instructions. I agitate 15 seconds every 30 seconds based on the instructions. I am keeping the Patterson tank in the water bath in between agitations.
Daylight chrome runs at 104 degrees Fahrenheit for 6 minutes at a dilution of 1 to 1.
Okay, I think this looks good. Yes, this looks, I think this looks how it should look.
Oh, you can clearly see it.
Yeah.
Not even holding it to the light.
Yeah, this looks like the unicolor stuff, pretty, or at least like really, really similar.
So what do we think?
So the 1 to 3 soft tone dynamic chrome development is really dark and looks really odd. Shoots slide film like it's color negative film. No. Even further preserved highlight detail with softer contrast and a daylight color balance with increased red to prevent green cast and maintain rich slide color is great for scanning.
It's purple here actually compared to here.
Yeah. Well, we'll see the tungsten stuff in a minute.
Yeah.
I am exhausted. Time for the tungsten chrome for the last one, which develops at the same time as daylight chrome.
Tungsten chrome runs at 104 degrees Fahrenheit for 6 minutes at a dilution of 1 to 1. Do they? So, okay, well, that's the tungsten stuff. Still, it's very tungsten. Still, it's very warm. So
Is it supposed to fix cold?
it's supposed to, yeah, it's supposed to kind of tweak the color temperature of Ektachrome shot as tungsten. Okay, it's the next day actually, and because I developed the dynamic chrome roll as the soft tone 1 to 3 one and had weird results, but now I was shooting another backup roll in a Canon that isn't quite the same. The last few shots aren't the same tungsten filtered outdoor shots as the other ones, but I'm going to develop that in the 1 to 2 neutral tone dilution for the dynamic chrome and see how that looks. Dynamic chrome runs at 104 degrees Fahrenheit for 11 minutes at a dilution of 1 to 2. Wow, that's like really... it's really dark. I mean, with like your glass white through it, sure, but... So this is, what is 1 to 2? Neutral tone?
Neutral tone.
Interesting. Okay. That's it. No more developing. Let's get this out of the way right now, and this is the same as the first time that I tried this video. Unicolor looks good. It's good. It's a kit that has always worked for me. It's easy to use, has easy instructions to read, and gives me slides that look like really great slides. These project really well, they're vivid and bright, and they're colorful, and I just really love it. It's still my go-to kit. There are other E6 kits out there like Bellini, which is a full 6-bath E6 kit, but Unicolor is the easiest thing for me to get locally, and my experience has always been positive with it. Now, normally I like to project my slides, but for this video I'm kind of low on slide mounts at the moment, and as a quick example, I'm just using this lens that lets me advance the entire roll through in front of a projector, but it gives this vignetting spot on the projection screen. So these look crazy, but this isn't on my actual film, but they do project well. Cinestill's Daylight Chrome. This stuff looks pretty good overall, but it did come out darker than the Unicolor roll, and I was expecting them to be closer because it is apparently Unicolor made chemistry and should look pretty similar. This could be attributed to a couple of things. It could be a slight exposure issue with my camera, but all of these are cameras that I know and I trust and were consistent on other rolls that I've shot before. Or it could be the difficulty of maintaining a high developing temperature of 104 degrees Fahrenheit consistently for the entire 6-minute developing time. And this is something I'm going to circle back to in a bit. Cinestill's Tungsten Chrome. Tungsten Chrome is even darker than Daylight Chrome, developed the same way with the same times. I also don't have an exact cause for the quality of this. Does Tungsten Chrome change the color? Not drastically, it seems. It does make things a bit cooler, but I really wouldn't have even realized by how much if I wasn't seeing these shots side by side a normal roll. Maybe if the roll had come out brighter, if I had run it a little bit longer, then the color shift wouldn't be so murky and might be a bit more effective. But on their own without a side by side, you might not really even tell how much of a change it's impacting the slide color. And I think that it just kind of makes your images worse. Dynamic Chrome. From here on out, I'm going to have the most to say about Dynamic Chrome, and let's start by just having an understanding of what this developer is supposed to do. Cinestill's website claims that it is the world's most flexible first developer for slide film. It renders approximately 9+ stops of usable dynamic range, maintains vibrant color contrast and rich warm tones with preserved highlight and shadow detail, and is optimized for scanning. You can dilute 1-to-1 with water for warm tone slides with 2 stops of extended dynamic range, or for further preserved highlight detail in a more neutral color balance, you can dilute 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. So unlike Daylight Chrome and Tungsten Chrome, you can use Dynamic Chrome in 3 different ways. Important to note here that the 1 to 3 dilution is referred to as pulling 1 stop specifically only here. It's not really evident in the rest of the wording, but 1 to 3 is pull processing your film by 1 stop. Now let's go over to the packaging for Dynamic Chrome. 1-to-1 is again for warm slides, rotary rotary or inversion agitation with 2 stops of extended range. 1 to 2 is again for rotary or inversion agitation, and it gives you 2 more stops of highlight detail and more neutral tone slides, but here it mentions that it will also give you increased reds and blues. 1 to 3 is for inversion agitation only, no rotary processing. Extra exposure forgiveness, highlight recovery, increased red to prevent green cast, and says shoot slide film like it's color negative film. So 1 to 2 and 1 to 3 are mentioned to have more neutral colors, but are also increasing the reds. There's also no mention here of pull processing, and it's just language about making things more flexible with more detail. And the instructions themselves here refer to 1 to 3 as soft tone overexposure forgiveness. No pull processing is mentioned anywhere here outside of the website. And I think I want to know, am I pull processing? Does it have neutral daylight balance tonality, or is it increasing the reds at the same time? I guess 1 to 2 and 1 to 3 are supposed to be more neutral than the 1 to 1, which is warm tone, but more neutral in a way that is also increasing the reds. Maybe this doesn't really matter, and I might be just a bit too picky about this, but it's just like some slight differences in the wording across all of this. Unfortunately, both my 1 to 3 and 1 to 2 dynamic chrome rolls came out much too dark to have any idea of what they were supposed to look like. Both rolls have those increased reds, but because everything is so dark, it's just kind of come as this weird overall pinkish tint. I camera scanned all of this, and yes, if I blast enough light through them and lower my camera shutter speed enough, play around with the settings, then they can scan okay, but they are really dark, so the shadow detail is kind of gone. As a side-by-side comparison of slide film and what looks good as slides, Unicolor has the best results. Daylight Chrome is not bad, and the rest I don't recommend. After I did all of this developing though, and let me remind you that I've already done all of this before as well, I wanted to give Dynamic Chrome another chance. I am doing Dynamic Chrome diluted 1 to 1, which I should have done in the first place, probably after 1 to 3 instead of 1 to 2. Now I am out of rolls that I have shot just like the other ones with like Robin outside, inside, filtered, unfiltered. So this is just like a quick one that I shot with like a few like really bracketed exposures across like 6 stops or something like that, just to see if the 1 to 1 Dynamic Chrome stock stuff can give me good results. The Dynamic Chrome is sitting in the water bath. It is at 105 degrees Fahrenheit right now. The water bath itself runs at 108. Dynamic Chrome runs at 104 degrees Fahrenheit for 9 minutes and 15 seconds with a 1 to 1 dilution. This is Dynamic Chrome done 1 to 1, and for this roll I did brackets of 7 stops. These look drastically better than the 1 to 2 and 1 to 3 results, and there are finally some good slides here, but are still a bit dark. This shot of the house, for example, I metered the side at f5.6, but it looks better here at the f4 exposure. Of course, I don't have side-by-side comparisons to go against at this point, but the roll seems off by between 1 and 2 stops against a camera that I use constantly and trust very well. But again, Dynamic Chrome is optimized for scanning, which means that I guess for all of this you are going to get some density loss, so they are supposed to look a little bit different as actual slides. Okay, so I'm gonna try one more time. I had some fresh Actichrome as a bulk roll from a little while ago. I rolled myself a very small short roll just to shoot like brackets, a few shots, and we're gonna try Dynamic Chrome one more time to see. I'm gonna do a 1 to 1. I'm gonna heat up the chemistry like 5 degrees warmer than it needs to be. Run it hot. and then we're gonna see. Okay, the water bath is running at 109 Fahrenheit. The chemistry is sitting at 108 Fahrenheit. On my final attempt, I ran dynamic chrome much hotter at 108 degrees Fahrenheit for 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Putting a thermometer in the tank near the end of the developing showed me that the temperature had dropped to around 105 degrees Fahrenheit, even while it was still in the water bath of 109. I can see exposures. I can really see exposures on here. My very, very little roll of Ectochrome. I promise this is the last one. Truly, really, really the last one. A few brackets, dynamic chrome 1:1, ran it really hot, and finally, some good slides with dynamic chrome. Unfortunately, it took me a lot of Ectochrome to get here, so I don't have many shots or side-by-side comparisons anymore, except for the roll I ran right before this, 1:1, and you can see that it is now like the stop or stop and a half kind of brighter on it. I am going to try and sum this whole experience up now somehow. I'll be honest with you, doing this video completely exhausted me, and actually doing this video twice has completely exhausted me twice. I really just wanted to shoot a bunch of Ectochrome and compare it all side by side. I wasn't trying to show that Cinestill's chemistry is bad or that it's difficult to work with. I just did everything developing wise that I would normally do for anything, and these are my experiences. Dynamic chrome is hard to get right, and it does come down to temperature inconsistencies that made this whole experience so frustrating for me, and I can chalk those up to my own error. Having to run all of these developers at 104 degrees Fahrenheit really makes this kind of difficult for people to use if they're just working with like a basic home developing setup. In fairness to the instructions, it does say to be really aware of how much your temperature might be dropping when you're developing. And I thought I was compensating for this, but it looks like I was underestimating how much I needed to compensate for this. And that is like the biggest thing to be aware of if you're trying to work with especially dynamic chrome. And I will say that there just seems to be some weird kind of inconsistencies between like the marketing language and the website language and like the instructions or like the packaging. In fact, as I'm making this, as I was just editing this, I realized that there are slightly two different versions of the instructions for the Cinestill stuff. And you can find both of these online, so just be careful because there's a very kind of slight difference in some of the wording and stuff. The new stuff, which I believe is from 2023, lists all the dynamic chrome developing times as 9 minutes and 15 seconds, 11 minutes and 13 minutes for the 1:1, 1:2, and 1:3 dilutions. The older instructions that, like if you Google looking for Cinestill E6 instructions, these are pretty easy to find. It is, I believe these are the 2020 revised instructions, and they give the dynamic chrome developing times as 9 minutes, 10.5 minutes, and 12 minutes. So like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and a minute shorter than the current ones. The old one is blue, the new one is purple. Also, they changed some of the language. The older instructions reference the 1:3 dynamic chrome dilution the same way that the website does, as pulling one stop for overexposed film. And then they updated it with 1:3 just being for soft tone overexposure forgiveness, which sounds great. It's pulling one stop. Ultimately, Unicolor's kit was the easiest to use and develop and get good looking results after just one try. Daylight chrome seems okay. Again, run it maybe a little bit warmer and just be really careful when you're doing it. But it is supposed to be like the same as the Unicolor kit's developer, but you're running it at a higher temperature than the Unicolor kit, which makes it just like a little bit trickier to work with than just
just buying a unicolor kit. And tungsten chrome is strange, and I don't really understand it and what the point is. I didn't really like any of the images that came off that roll. It's really what you're looking for in the end. I mean, I shoot slide film exclusively with like the intention to mount and project those images. And I know that's kind of a smaller pool of people that are doing that, but there are a lot of freaks out there like me. And Unicolor's kit has just given me bright, vivid, beautiful, great slides every time that I've used it. Dynamic Chrome and the Cinestill stuff kind of in general seems like it's a little more geared towards the like scanning, digitizing crowd. And it just might be kind of tricky for people to achieve the results that it is capable of. And this is just like my personal viewpoint here. If you're shooting slide film and you're really trying to like tweak the color balance of it and reduce the contrast, like more shadow detail, achieve more dynamic range, and ultimately shoot slide film like it's color negative film, then probably just shoot color negative film. And if you're really not like projecting or doing something that is like really specific to Ektachrome, which is a really kind of specific film stock, then you might just kind of forgo this whole thing. So for developing slide film at home, if you really insist on doing it, which I probably am not gonna do again anytime soon, the daylight chrome stuff is the best of what Cinestill has to offer, but I really like the unicolor kit, and I think like almost every other E6 kit out there for like hand processing processes like 4 degrees cooler than the Cinestill stuff, which makes it easier to work with, and I would recommend any of that stuff, I think, over the Cinestill stuff first. Thank you so much for checking this out. And if you watched the first version of this video that I did, thanks also for that. That truly was very deeply expired chemistry that I had no idea at the time. Thank you to Steve and Andre over at Cinestill for sending me replacement chemistry and tracking that stuff down, and sending me just a lot of information about the Cinestill chemistry and how it works and how it should work. I really did try my best to just approach this in a way that I feel like an average like person buying this kit and following these instructions would, and this is my results, and I'm not doing this again, but thank you anyways. There are things down in the description to click on and look at, and I will make more videos now that aren't slide film videos. Thank you.